What's up, people? I am back on social media. I just recently took a 6-month hiatus where I deactivated all my social media accounts. I just realized that social media was feeding things that I didn't like in myself, so I just decided to completely cut myself off indefinitely. I didn't really have a plan of like, 6 months and then I'm coming back. Like, I was actually totally cool with never coming back. But I have been on a journey in the past 6 months that I feel is worth sharing, because I think a lot of people have often wondered, can I give up social media? Like, is that even a thing? What would it be like? So I just like to share this journey with you all. So the number one most important thing that I learned about being off social media is you don't need it.
I don't need it. I don't need it. I definitely don't need it.
There's this overall sentiment that you somehow need to have it in a modern age. If you don't, it's like you're trying to cling on to a world that doesn't exist anymore. That's simply not the case. You can totally survive and have a thriving life without social media. A lot of people have a lot of opinions on why you have to have social media. You gotta be on social media, kid. If you don't, you might as well be Amish. And what's interesting, I wanted to actually go off social media years before I did recently, but I didn't because I kept believing what everyone was saying. And definitely as an entertainer and performer, I would often believe the lies that I couldn't do what I wanted to do without social media. The sentiments that are commonly associated with going off social media are this: how are people gonna keep up with you? Before recently, like in the past decade or so, if people wanted to get to know you, they had to intentionally reach out to you. And guess what happened when I went off social media? That's exactly what people did. We do this a lot. We think that we can have like a digital relationship with someone because we like their posts or engage in the comment feed sometime. But what actually happened is that people that I normally actually didn't have reaching out to me wanting to hang out would reach out and ask me how I was doing and want to get together and get coffee. Yeah, maybe not thousands of people are going to know what's going on in my life, but the people that want to know about my life are the people that are going to know about my life because they're reaching out to me. We're getting together. We're actually connecting human to human. It's great. The other myth is, how are you going to get work? Now, this is especially crucial to people who are artists or self-employed, or a lot of their job, a lot of their work is piecework. They think that removing themselves from the social media sphere is somehow going to result in them being in poverty. Now, I have a really interesting story to share with you all about this, because this was definitely a concern of mine being an actor and performer. Even though I wanted to go off social media years ago, I didn't, because I thought I couldn't have a flourishing acting career. Up until I went off social media, I had never received any acting work through social media, ever. And within just 2 months after going off social media, I had a friend reach out to me who we had done a commercial together. She worked for a production company. She sent me an email and she's like, Miles, we're looking for someone to fill this role. We couldn't find anyone. And so I put it out on Facebook, and our mutual friend recommended that I reach out to you. And so I went to look you up, and you weren't on Facebook, you weren't on Instagram. So I looked back to a call sheet from a year ago. I found your email, and now I'm reaching out to you. Would you like to submit for the role? And I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I submitted, and they're like, we'd like to book you. And that has actually been one of my most consistent acting gigs ever. It's funny that I didn't get work through social media until I went off social media. And that's the first acting job I've ever gotten through like a Facebook connection type of thing. And I wasn't even on Facebook. So if that's what you guys are worried about, if you're worried that people aren't going to keep up with you and you're not going to get work and like how people are going to know about your life, like, trust me, it's fine. If you recognize that the social media thing is not a healthy thing for your life, then do it. Cut it out. Try going off of it for a week or a month, or I don't know, try 6 months or forever. It's fine. You don't need it. It might be that social media itself is keeping your life from flourishing. Which brings me on to my next point. Going off social media has made me more present and in the moment than I have been in years. And this is partially due to the idea that it's kind of in our DNA when we're actively engaging with social media, that you somehow, you have this like posting anxiety that you always have to be posting. You gotta let people know what you're doing. No. You don't. People don't need to see the 15th photo of you eating a burger from In-N-Out. People don't need to see how much fun you're having because secretly you want people to be jealous about how much fun you're having. In the first 30 days that I gave up social media, I'd be enjoying a moment. I was like, oh, I need to post about it. And it was so great because in that moment, I did not have social media to post to anymore. So I just got to experience it and enjoy it. And it was amazing. And after about 30 days, the proclivity to always need to be posting in my life was absolutely gone. And not feeling the need to post all the time, it reduced my phone addiction so much. That's because I think by and large, most of our phone addiction is due to social media, right? Because we get these dopamine hits. You don't need to keep checking if that girl that turned you down is still watching your Instagram story. Hypothetically, of course, so I've heard people have done. My phone was still with me, but like I was checking it so much less frequently. Another great benefit of being off social media is I had more time to do things. You don't need to keep engaging in fruitless political debates where no one's going to change their mind and all it is just feeding your ego of wanting to be right and you just get frustrated at the end and you just hate your life because you're like, why did I spend 2 hours and 20 paragraphs wasting my time with this idiot? So when you're not giving your time to silly things like that anymore, there's like legitimate more time. I was able to read more books. I was able to learn piano, listen to podcasts, all these things that were very fruitful and beneficial in my life. But now this is something that surprised me. That extra time that I should have had ended up getting sucked into other things. And this is a very important point is don't underestimate your ability to find things to distract you from what you actually want to do. Now, social media, it's an easy target, right? We all know we're spending way too much time on it. It's having all these unhealthy side effects. But even with social media away, I thought, great, now I'm going to be on this next level of productivity. And it simply was not the case. I was often distracting myself with watching Netflix or I'd be watching a YouTube video and I'd just go down a YouTube rabbit hole. Now, granted, it was probably more beneficial than just like wasting away on social media, but they also were distractions from what I actually wanted to do. Like I wanted to learn piano. I wanted to read my Bible a lot more. And I did do some of those things, but still most of my time was being given to things that really weren't what I wanted to do, and they were just distractions. So I think it's very easy to look at social media and think that is to blame, when actually the problem is much deeper than that. Which gets me to my last point, and that is if you think that going off social media is going to solve all your problems, let me be the first to burst your bubble. No, it's not. The unhealthy relationship that I had was only an external indication of really internal things that I needed to fix and deal with. And often when you have internal things that are being indicated in external factors, the inclination is to look at the external things and think that they're the problem, which was a huge wake-up call. I was thinking I was just going to be living on this next plane of existence, and I actually hit some of the lowest lows I have ever had in my life. And I was like, what is going on? Lord, please help. Like, this is not what I thought this journey was going to be. At the same time, I'm so glad it happened because removing those externals, I had no choice but to deal with the internal issue that was going on. In the past few months, like I really had this time to look at what not only I didn't like about social media, but many other things that I was cutting out of my life, just trying to figure out what was wrong, which is why I decided to come back, not because I need it, not because I feel like I'm somehow missing out, because I've had time to look and evaluate what was the real problem going on internally, why I had an unhealthy relationship with Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. I realized that I can approach it in such a better way as long as it's anchored in a very healthy mindset. And so the big revelation I had about how I can approach social media in a healthy and positive way is to see it as a platform to serve others and not myself. So much of what was unhealthy about my engagement with social media was just feeding my ego. It was so self-serving, and there's this line from this artist that I absolutely love. His name's John Rubin. Being full of yourself will leave you empty. And honestly, that was a major problem with my relationship with social media. It was so self-serving that it just left me completely empty, anxiety-ridden, and just hating myself for it as well. But I really think that this is a very unique platform and grounded in the right perspective can be so beneficial to many people. So in the spirit of that, if you believe this video could be in service to someone you know or your friends, please share it. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope it was helpful. I'm gonna be posting videos every week. Could be impressions, could be about life, could be about this mole that's on the back of my... Anyway, please like and follow and subscribe if you like what you heard. I have a challenge for you all that I just want you to try. So the challenge is this. You know that app that you keep going to when you're bored or you have nothing to do or you're about to go to sleep, but you just go to the app instead? I want you to go to that app, delete it for 1 week, and I want you to tell me how that experience was in the comments below. And I'm really excited to see how that changed how your week went. There'll be more videos to come. I hope you enjoyed this one. Peace out. There's a fly. A fly tried to buzz into my video. I told it to buzz off.